Okay, good morning. Welcome to our care class, but before we start, I'm actually going to be doing a class which is not in the care training, but it's a request I've had from a lot of students who are looking to, let's say, gather all the items and equipment together before they start doing their practicums, because they tend to panic a little bit about what they need to do a proper raindrop session. So quickly, I'm just going to run through a checklist of what you need in order to do an effective raindrop, and this will apply to people who are doing raindrop without or with care training. But first of all, the first thing that you need is a table, yeah? But you need a table that is, you're able to adjust the height, has got an adjustable headrest, and ideally has side panels. So these are pretty much freely available in the market. We don't do raindrops on yoga mats on the floor, for example, in care. So I'm just warning you that in order to do an effective raindrop, you need the proper equipment. And if you're going to do a lot of raindrops, or if you're going to do them on your family and friends, please invest in a suitable but good quality massage table. Preferably one that is mobile and portable, and there's a lot on the market that you can actually fold up and carry with you, take it in your car, which is very, very useful. So that's the first thing.
Not on bed as well.
Not really, no. And there are reasons for that, which we'll get into in terms of the position of the head and the position of the feet. Okay. Secondly, you'll see that there's a sheet on the table. Any old sheet really is to protect the table. Essential oils can be very aggressive with hydrocarbons and vinyl and PVC, so if you find you're using essential oils on a vinyl table, they'll start eating into the tabletop. So this is to protect the table and also to make it more comfortable for the client who's lying on it. So a sheet. Secondly, or thirdly, you will need a large or two medium towels. And again, I'll be explaining what we do with these towels later. They're actually for the hot compress technique. You will also need a button blouse or shirt, ideally, and this is again, obviously the client can bring their own, but I always carry a spare, but for some reason people, when they come for a raindrop, they often forget things, just as we would forget what we need to do a raindrop on them. So a shirt like this, like a man's shirt or a blouse, which you can wear back to front and button it up at the back, and then when the client turns over on the table, you can unbutton it, exposing their spine, ready for the application of the essential oils. Okay. A couple of folded hand towels. One is for the actual hot compress itself, and you can see how it's folded. One is folded like this in thirds, so that when you pour the hot water on either end, the water will go into the middle of the towel and will disperse easily. It's a very scientific method, I know, but it has been proven to work. So that's one towel. Then if you don't have disposable headrests for hygiene purposes, then use another hand towel, which again you can fold it into a V, and then you can put it nicely on the headrest in order for the person to be comfortable, because they may perspire a lot and the towel will collect their liquids. A blanket, let's keep them warm, right? Any blanket would do, or preferably a clean one. And then a pillow for their comfort, so when they're lying down on their back, when you first do the VitaFlex technique on the feet, their head will be comfortable. You will also need a tray to hold the oils. I prefer wood because it doesn't make a noise. A lot of people use Perspex where it goes clack, clack, clack when you put the oils in, which is it can be very disturbing when for the client who's on the table, who's trying to relax and go inbound and scan their body, right? You don't want to make a lot of noise. Just a quick note, the single sheet, the towels and the pillowcases, which are quite personal to the person from a hygiene point of view, I'd recommend that the client actually brings them themselves. But I always have spares available in case they've forgotten. right? Now the actual oils themselves, well, we know the sequence, right? It's good that you put the oils in sequence in your tray, so you know exactly where they are. So the first one we're going to use would be Valor or Sacred Mountain for balancing, followed by oregano, thyme, basil, wintergreen, marjoram, cypress, and peppermint. Right, where's my peppermint gone? Oh, there it is. It's the wrong place. Okay. So again, a little tip before you start: make sure you unloosen the tops of the bottles, because you're going to need to get to the oils very quickly in sequence, and when you get trained, you will need to be able to unbottle or uncap one-handed, okay? So always unloosen your bottle top so you don't stop and start every 5 minutes when you're doing the raindrop session itself. You also, of course, need your 2 carrier oils on standby. One would be your V6, which is used in case there's any tingling sensations on the back. We've used that. And then we use Body Ease, that we call Ortho Ease actually internationally, but in Malaysia we call it Body Ease massage oil, and that's for the actual massaging technique during the raindrop session itself. So have those ready on standby. Okay. The other 2 oils that you'll also have on standby will be Aroma Says, and again we use that if we detect any muscle tension or knottiness on at the back. And then White Angelica, which we use for our own personal protection, and I'll be showing you later in the class how we actually use White Angelica to protect ourselves. Raindroppers who are doing a lot of sessions, you need to protect yourself. You cannot pour from an empty glass. You need to be protected so that you're not absorbing negative energies from these people that you are treating or facilitating the raindrops. Make sure that you've already boiled your kettle of water. Again, you don't want to wait 5 minutes for the kettle to warm up. Make sure you pre-boil it before you start, and then when you've got to rush off to get your hot towel compressed, it'll only take a few seconds for the water to reheat. Okay. You will need a glass of water for your client, right? In care, we encourage you to drink a lot of water before you do the raindrop, but we also encourage you to drink water afterwards. Okay. And that again is to stop any adverse reactions you may have from detoxing. Don't forget, during a raindrop session, we will be dropping on you 80 to 100 drops. That's a lot of oil, particularly for a newbie, people who have not experienced Young Living essential oils before. So the first job that oils will do is to detox, so we need to drink a lot of water to flush out these toxins so that you don't get dizzy or maybe get a little bit nauseous or even moody. Okay? We'll talk about moodiness later. That's an emotional reaction, not in this class. Now, to do the measuring, if you remember, we also tend to measure people before and after. Gary Young originally developed the raindrop technique for his back issues, particularly scoliosis. So it's useful to measure people, so you're going to need some plain A4 paper, tape to tape it onto a clean surface on the wall. Make sure if you're in somebody's house, don't tape it onto some paintwork where when you take the tape off, you've ripped off half their paintwork. Find a surface like a door or a solid surface or a window. Okay? You need a pen to do the marking, and then you either can use a cereal box or a tissue box to do the actual measuring. A very sophisticated measuring device, but it works, okay? I carry around with me a solid one, right, because I find that my tissue boxes and cereal boxes get crushed, so as long as I've got a long side to measure with, then it works. Okay. Tissues you'll need in case you spill any oils, and also if the person has an emotional release on the table, they may want to blow their nose or wipe their eyes. So useful to have tissues on standby. Another thing, and people ask me, well, why have you got a plastic bag? Oh. Don't forget, after the hot towel compress, you will have a wet towel. particularly if you're in somebody's house and you're using your own towels, you need to put the wet towel in the plastic bag so you can take it home. So useful. You need a manicure set. Again, during the course of the training, we ask you to make sure that your nails are kept very sharp and polished. So you need things like this, clippers, so that people can borrow if they didn't bring their own, or when you do the nail check, you find their nails are too sharp. Again, just be prepared. Yeah. Eye mask. Now, why do I have an eye mask? This is a beautiful airline bag. So some people may like to be quiet. They could use earplugs, maybe, I don't know. Maybe their feet get cold. You could put the socks on them. But the eye mask really is, if it's too bright, and some people are very sensitive to the light, they could wear the eye mask when they're on their back, when we're doing the Vitaflex on the feet. Again, just something useful. Our job is to make sure that person is relaxed and has the best possible experience. So we need to provide the tools to do that. If you are carrying stuff around, you're going to need a large bag. Your towels, your blankets, your shirts, your pillows, etc. So a nice soft bag, or maybe you've got a Louis Vuitton or a Chanel, I don't know, that you ladies carry around with you, okay? I also have a special oil pouch to carry my oils around so that I actually look professional. You know, I'm not carrying my oils around in a plastic bag, so I look like an amateur. So in here I've got all my oils, the 8 oils, I've got my carrier oils. I can put my notes in the back there in the pocket, my CCI handbook, and your notes. You must have your notes with you. Always have your Raindrop notes and your CCI handbook. Because if you're a care student and you want to become a CCI, you have to have your practicum signed off by the people you are facilitating the Raindrops with. And you always need, even instructors, we carry these notes with us and refer to them all the time, because if you get distracted, maybe you forgot where you were in the sequence. Oh, am I on time? Am I on margin? Did I do two sets or 3 steps? Keep your notes with you and you'll know exactly where you are, and you will always do the same quality, effective Raindrop session on everybody. Okay? So yeah, back to this. You keep all your notes and paperwork in here. There's a place for a pen. And of course, you can put your little rack in there. So look professional. Available from me if you want one. I do your deal. Okay. Then last but not least is the environment in which we do the Raindrop in. Make sure it's quiet. We don't play babbling brooks, monks chanting, ocean waves crashing on the shores, because we want people to have a quiet hour and go inbound and have an inbound experience, which in today's society, it's very unusual to have a quiet hour on your own. So we want people to be introspective, not distracted by some monks chanting or whatever. No disrespect to the other healing professionals. Right? Is the room cool? Right? Maybe you've got fans, or if you're in a cold climate, maybe you need to warm it up. If you're in the tropics like we are here, maybe you need the air conditioning on. It all depends, but check the environment so that the person on the table is going to be comfortable. Is it too bright? Have you got all your lights on? You know, like a studio? Well, maybe you need to turn some lights off, or give them the eye mask when they're on their back. Again, you don't need it bright. Ideally, you need the room to be low light level, so that people can relax and you can relax when you're doing the Raindrop, okay? And then last but not least, please, no diffusing of other essential oils. I know you all like to do it, right? But we are going to be dropping 8 different oils on that person's back. We don't need another oil coming in there to interfere with the process, okay? So no diffusing. So if you have any questions, you can always contact me at robert@noahsarklifestyle.com. Okay? Thank you for listening.